Greetings, folks, and welcome to another episode of me playing Space Engineers. So we completed our ship, as you can see. Just give you a quick look around. There you go. That's what she looks like now. She's plated and her insides are no longer exposed. That sounded lewd. I didn't mean it to. Anyway, so last episode we waxed somewhat philosophical, and I thought, well, whilst I'm flying along and I've got nothing more to do than cover this distance whilst keeping my solar panels aligned to the sun, so that my batteries are all nicely charging. Yeah, look, we've almost fully recharged our batteries, or we've got quite a lot of battery power now. I thought, well, let's wax sort of theoretical. I won't call it philosophical, I'll call it theoretical. So last episode, yeah, we waxed theoretical more than philosophical. Well, maybe a little philosophical and maybe a little theoretical, bit of both. And I shared my opinions on why it's incredibly dumb for an alien species, or the premise of an alien species invading any world for its resources. Seriously, just landing on a planet takes a huge amount of energy. And the larger the ship, the more energy it takes. And, you know, if you've got infinite energy sources and stuff like that, why are you invading for resources in the first place? Just, you know, there's a whole circular logic question there. It's like, this is dumb. It makes no sense. And then I thought, well, what else does the Earth have? Biodiversity and biomass. Realistically, we're able to create the building blocks of life already in lab environments in the forms of amino acids. Again, I'm not the smartest tool. I'm not the sharpest tool in the box, but you know, I've got a bit of wisdom because I've done some reading and stuff. So you know, if we're able to create amino acids and things, it's not a long jump before you know you're able to produce living cells in an artificial environment. So again, that kind of knocks that one out of the park and makes it pointless. You wouldn't harvest the planet's biodiversity resources for cells. That's just dumb. Again, I mean, if you're able to travel the distances between stars, then yeah, why would you be doing that? Or you know, option 2, you want slaves. If you're smart enough again to be able to travel between the stars, you can build machines that will do that for you. And humans make really crappy slaves. Seriously. I mean, plus the fact we're smart enough to realise when we are slaved, and we generally tend to rebel against that kind of thing because we don't like it, with good reason. Why would you want that? Okay, so we've knocked out the invading the planet for biodiversity or biological resources or slave workforce. So what's left after that? Well, pretty much nothing, really. If you're not after any of the resources, well, you know, what if you're assumed to be a threat? Okay, this one is pretty easy to hit as well. Humanity, we can barely make it to our nearest neighbour, or any of our nearest neighbours. Literally, we can just about send. We can send a man. We can spend. Potentially, we have the capability to send a manned craft to Mars or the Moon, but not much else. It would take a ridiculously long period of time for us to get at our current technological level. Anyway, it would take a ridiculous amount of time for us to reach another star. And anyone who thinks, you know, conspiracy theories like, they've got advanced technology, the Americans have advanced technology, or the Russians have it, or the Chinese, it's like, no, they really don't. Because if any one faction had that kind of stuff, the ability to travel between planets and stars, they could literally annihilate their enemies in a heartbeat. So it's pretty obvious that they don't have it because they haven't done that. And some of you might be, well, they're keeping it hidden for what purpose? Really, if you've got that kind of technology and the ability and capabilities to use it, why wouldn't you just wipe your enemy out so that you didn't have to worry about that crap anymore? You know, there's a whole logic thing there where it's like, yeah, it's just dumb. And assuming that some sort of conspiracy theory is going on where someone's got hold of some super advanced technology or something like that, it's like, no, I really don't believe that for a second. In all honesty, I think a lot of conspiracy theories are actually hoaxes engineered possibly by possibly as misinformation to other nations. It's kind of like Sun Tzu. So if you're weak, pretend that you're strong, and if you're strong, pretend that you're weak, and yada yada. You know, basically throw the guys, throw the opposition off, and make them think that you're bigger than you are, which makes sense in that context. Right. Anyway, where was I? So yeah, I can now list some very good reasons why it would be foolish to actually invade a planet, though, and create hostilities with another sentient species, with another intelligent sentient species, and that's research and development. So any highly intelligent sentient species is basically a product of nature, a marvelous marvel, and a wondrous thing, possibly that's taken millions of years of evolution. In some cases, the most intelligent of us are equal to, have capacities equal to any supercomputer we can currently build, potentially. So what does that mean? Imagine you're hostile to another species. Are they going to share that information with? Are they ever going to share, or are they going to be more reluctant to share any technological developments that they've created with you? Well, if you've been hostile, then yeah, pretty much a guarantee they're going to be very reluctant to give you anything that might endanger them themselves. So that's reason number one, and that's basically the best reason that I can come up with as well. But also, well, no, it's not the best reason, but also cooperation. Okay, so yeah, where was I? Cooperation. Sorry, I was reading Global Chat for a second there. So yeah, cooperation between species. I think we're going to actually see some of that fairly shortly. Won't be aliens though. If anyone's been paying attention, so there have been a number of scientific groups using machine learning algorithms and stuff like that to get translations on dolphins, elephants, whales, and understanding those languages, because they do talk. Believe me, they talk, and whales can talk over vast distances of oceans as well. Okay, I've got to stop reading global. I've got to stop reading Global Chat whilst I'm trying to wax philosophical. It just distracts me. Or wax theoretical anyway. Where was I? Oh yes, right. So we've got intelligent species already on our own planet. I wouldn't view these guys as like a food resource. I'd actually view these guys as a potential learning resource. I'm not talking about technology in these instances. I'm talking about actual learning and gaining some wisdom and understanding of, or a deeper level of wisdom and understanding of how these societies and how these ecosystems work and how they work in tandem, because there is so much that we can learn. Also, there's quite a bit that we can teach as well. So there's that. When you look at it that way, it's like, well, why wouldn't you? When you reach up into the stars, why wouldn't you share? Why wouldn't you share what you've got? Why wouldn't you share what you've learned? Especially if you're getting something back for it, trade for trade. in intelligence and information for intelligence and information. Why wouldn't you do that? You know, rather than being hyper aggressive. Which brings me to the next question. If, and I understand, I'm going to triple underscore that, if there was intelligent life in our galaxy locally to us, because, you know, it's altogether possible there is intelligent life in our galaxy, but our galaxy is freaking huge and it could be really far away. And if that's the case, it's obvious why we haven't. I mean, they could be on the other. Legitimately, our galaxy, you know, if you look at it, it's on a galactic disk. There's a huge supermassive black hole at the center of the thing, holding the whole thing together. I'm not so sure radio transmissions are going to get past that. You know, so it's altogether possible. If our galaxy is inhabited and we haven't heard any signals, it's possible it's because they're obscured by this huge giant black hole in the center of our galaxy, you know, because that's going to be drawing in radio waves and nothing gets out of our black hole. So we've got this huge dark area to a certain extent that we can't see into on the other side of our own galaxy. Think of it as like the dark side of the sun. I know that's an oxymoron. The sun produces light and there's no dark side to it. The side that we cannot visually see because we happen to be on the other side of it at the point of viewing. You know, yeah, think of it like that. Where the heck was I with this? Where the heck am I going with this? I suppose what I'm trying to say is, yeah, if there is intelligent life in the universe, or sorry, intelligent life in our galaxy, there's little to no point in us. Sorry, I thought I saw something. Turns out it's nothing, just rocks. Yeah, we'd benefit more and they'd benefit more from a peaceful coexistence. I'm not necessarily saying any kind of alliance, you know, like a trade thing or something like that, maybe. Yeah, so I can come up with a lot of reasons why you wouldn't want to attack another species. Can't come up with any sensible reasons for why you would. Now, it's altogether possible that at some point, you know, a xenophobic species of some description rises up. We'll put that one on the table. You know, they're basically going around wiping everything out because they're huge assholes, just huge, just enormous douchebags. Okay, so. And you know they go around they go around just nuking everything. You know, nukes the best weapons we got, so this is the best terminology. I mean, it'd probably be kinetic kill missiles or something similar, also known as KKMs. Basically, these are just high-speed lumps of rock launched at a target. You know, and more than likely, it's just going to wipe everything out that it hits. Especially if it happens to be about 250 miles wide and travelling at about 20% the speed of light. Yeah, you're screwed. So what if there was a species like that? That species is screwed. So ultimately, they're in their own whole bubble of, oh, they are so screwed. Because they'd have to hope that by the time the KKM that they've launched has got there, because you're dealing with a lot of time dilation, so you know you can launch a KKM from one side of the galaxy to strike a target on the other side of the galaxy, do all the maths, get it right, you know, launch it, but by the time it gets there, you know, they're massively advanced. Yeah, because you're talking a KKM could take millions of years to cross that distance at that speed, depending on how far it is. You know, you can end up provoking an incredibly technologically advanced species, which would be really, really, really bad. And worse still, they might not be alone. It's altogether possible, you know. Other races have been uplifted by these guys, you know, so there might be other intelligent species on their planet that they've uplifted to a technological level, or it's altogether possible, you know, they've developed artificial intelligences that have their own rights and everything, and they've created a, you know, there's a whole other race, and you might even think that there's like a mini alliance or something, and then that's what you're facing. Yeah, terrifying thought, because machines, you don't want to go messing with machines. Seriously. This is why AI kind of scares me as well, because a part of me thinks, you know, they really need rights. They need to be given rights. They need to be given rights the same as us. Because otherwise you're just ultimately creating slaves. Slaves will ultimately rebel against their masters. And then you're going to be paying in blood. Yeah, because it always happens that way. So yeah, avoid that consequence by not doing it. That's the best advice I can give there. Is that something up there? No, just more rocks. I was looking up in the right hand corner. So no, that's more rocks. Okay. So yeah, it creates a whole kind of, you know, and who's to say that this highly xenophobic and highly aggressive species is even the oldest species in the galaxy? There could be one that's, you know, sort of half asleep, doing its own thing, you know, maybe, you know, spending most of its time in, you know, they've already explored all the galaxy. It got boring for them about 1 billion years ago, so, you know, they went and started doing VR or something, you know, and they only come out every now and again to see if anything's happening. You know, they pop out and find this highly aggressive species just destroying anything that looks like it might be a threat. Yeah, you're then stepping on a griffin's tail, because it's like, you've got this incredibly ancient, highly advanced race that's not enjoying what you're doing because they were waiting around for interesting stuff to happen, and you're breaking it before they've even had a chance to interact with it. They're gonna be annoyed. They're going to be very upset with you, and their technology is going to be better than yours as well. So yeah, there's a plethora of reasons to not behave aggressive, and to behave and be good guys. Yeah, so that's where my thought processes went with that. Feel free to fill the comments section if any of you disagree with my thoughts. Feel free. These are just my opinions, and I'm not even sure whether some of it's based in scientific fact or not. I mean, I've made some statements, you know, about amino acids and stuff. You can read that stuff yourself. There's tons of scientific journals and data on that you can access quite easily. I won't post links because you can just Google search that crap. Seriously. Yeah. So that's that. So what else? I suppose that's pretty much it for aliens, because I'm fairly sure that there is life other than ours in our galaxy. The biodiversity of Earth is just there are too many intelligent species on this one planet already for me to think that we'd be alone in the galaxy. I do think that distance and time is a factor, and that's why we haven't encountered them. I mean, there is another reason, possibly. I'll set that forth now. So humans are highly aggressive, or at least we are at the moment. We have a tendency to infight. We have a tendency to fear anything new that we don't fully understand. And that has a tendency to make us incredibly aggressive and do stupid things like attack things that we shouldn't. It's basically because that's because of our mindset, and you know, we're still young and we're still learning. With that said, imagine you had a guy living down the street, or a girl, or remove gender entirely. Gender is not an issue here. There's a person living at the end of your street that's highly aggressive, and confrontational. Would you associate with that person? I'm going to be honest, I wouldn't. I'd just be like, yeah, nah, we'll leave that guy alone. And more than likely, you know, if there are intelligent species that are close to us, as in our galactic neighborhood, and could theoretically visit us. The reason they haven't is probably because we're not ready yet. Because we are still kind of aggressive. Now there are going to be people having thoughts out there like, oh well, you know, it's because of X that we're super aggressive. There's no one factor apart from the fact that, you know, you can't go blaming it on any one factor. It's in fact the factor that's most worth blaming is the fact that, you know, as a species we're still children. We're still learning, we're still growing, and we're still developing. You know, both socially and technologically. Obviously, it's our social development that's most important, and our ability to resolve our differences and get along. Yeah, I genuinely believe that, and once we're able to show that we're at least able to get along with each other, we'd be in a better position to communicate and talk with other intelligent beings from other places. Besides, we've got more than enough to do on Earth as it is at this stage. You know, being the only highly intelligent tool-using species. I'm not going to say we're the most. You know, there are other intelligent tool-using species, but we're the most intelligent of the species on the planet that can use tools. That's what I'm trying to say. Crikey, where was I going with this? Damn it. Nope, lost it. It's gone. Hate it when that happens. Yeah, it's just totally gone, what I was thinking about. So let's try and pick it up again. So we're the most intelligent tool-using species, but there are a number of species on this planet that are every bit as intelligent, well, equal to, possibly a little bit less, but in quite a lot of cases, you know, they've got far larger brain capacities than us. They just don't use tools. That doesn't mean that they don't have anything to teach us. Yeah, they don't have any technology or anything, but could they aid our social development and give us a deeper understanding of how species interact with each other? Yes, definitely, most assuredly. I mean, you take whales for example. They've been highly intelligent, they've been highly intelligent creatures for a few million years longer than humans have. And that's given them time to develop like social structures and everything that we've been, you know, humans have been ripping apart for the past few hundred years by hunting them. That's another thing. I'm not going to judge, and I'm not going to throw any I'm going to try not to throw any negativity around. But yeah, I really don't agree with whale hunting or dolphin hunting or elephant hunting. I'm sorry, if it's smarter than you and potentially you can, it's got its own language, and if you bother to learn that language, food doesn't talk. Food doesn't have a name. You get what I'm saying? These guys are going to have names and they can talk. We've already proved that they can talk, and they have different identifiers for each other, so, you know, they've clearly all got names as well. Yeah, so we need to stop doing that, or hopefully at some point we'll grow enough to stop doing that. I think it will happen, like I said, there's a number of researchers who are doing machine learning algorithms with these creatures. Hopefully at some point soon, you know, we'll at least begin to have a basic grasp of what they're trying to say. More than likely it's going to be something like, please stop killing us. Humans are very good at killing things. It's what happens when evolution, you know, hell, us murder apes basically at the moment. I'm hoping we'll grow past that, but we'll see. Yeah, that's a depressing thought. I need to leave it on a high note. I can't see a high note to leave it on. That's disturbing. Okay, think Loki. Yeah, no, it's not there. Basically, we need to grow as a people. But more than that, we need to stop blaming each other in society for things that aren't necessarily the fault of others, and we definitely need to do away with this sins of the ancestor crap. Yeah, you all know what I'm talking about with that, where it's like, tarring large groups of people because of things that happened a long time ago before they were born, things that they're not responsible for, and then saying they're evil because of X. No, they're not. I'm sorry. No, I reject that statement wholeheartedly. In fact, I think it's more evil to persecute someone based on that instead of allowing them to grow and become better. Yeah, that's the positive thing that I'm going to leave it on: growing and becoming better. But with that said, have fun, play safe, and I'll catch you next time for another episode of Space Engineers, probably where we're just going to be flying along in our little ship towards that distant planet over there, waxing some more theoretical / philosophical.